What is holding you back? Is there anything blocking you? If you don't have awareness around what's going on and why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, it's really hard to do anything about it. So I recently received a question from somebody and I really wanted to answer it in an episode on the She Means Business show. So the question was this: what is the biggest piece of advice you have for someone in year 2 of their business but who has made $0 so far? Such an amazing question. I really want to talk about this because I know that so many people start businesses and then they really struggle with making money, and then they get a year or 2 years down the line, they feel like they're failing and don't really know what to do, don't know how to have that breakthrough. It feels frustrating, and then so many people give up from that place and then don't ever get going again with a business, which makes me feel really sad. So I really want to share my story on this and share the things that you can do to make sure that you make money in your business. So let's dive into it. When I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, I definitely had some money blocks. In the first year, I think I made nothing. Like, I don't even know if I sold anything in the first year. It was, if I did make anything, it was like nominal. By the end of the second year, I hadn't made any money. And in fact, I had completely run out of money and was really in a frustrating situation. And so many people said to me, Carrie, what are you doing? You can't just do things for free. A business is to make money, like all those things. Part of me felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm not making money and this is really frustrating, and you know, when am I going to have that breakthrough? And the other part of me felt like, no, I feel like I am doing the right thing. I'm really onto something here and I know I need to keep going with it. In that 2-year period, what I was doing was building my audience. I was building an email list. I was driving traffic to my website. I was growing a social media following. I was connecting with people. I was getting myself out there. I was speaking on stages for free, I might add. I was really getting myself out there. I was getting, media exposure. I was doing all these things. I was winning awards. It's just that I wasn't making any money. And for me, it was a huge part of not making money was because I was so afraid to create something. It's like, what am I going to create? And I was just really afraid that it wasn't going to be good enough and that people wouldn't buy it. And I was just really in my own way. And when I got to the end of that year 2 and ran out of money, I realized I have to do something about it. It was such a wake-up call because I knew that if I didn't figure out a way to make money, then I wouldn't be able to carry on, and then the whole thing would go down the drain, and that felt so heartbreaking to me. And so I met up with a friend of mine, and he said to me, he kind of talked me through, we talked about what I was feeling and the struggles I was going through. And he said to me, Carrie, the most powerful voice you can ever listen to is your own. And he taught me how to create a guided visualization. I went home that night and I scripted out a financial abundance guided visualization. I recorded it and I began listening to it. And I really got myself in a different state where I just felt like I was ready to make it work. I was ready to receive money. I was ready to make money. I was ready to serve people on a higher level. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I just felt in myself that it was time and I was ready to do it. And so weird things happened over the following week. I remember getting an email from Lewis Howes, and it was just his newsletter that he sends to everyone, and I often didn't open it. In fact, I don't know if I'd ever even really opened one of his emails because I don't know, I don't really open emails very often. And anyway, I decided to open his email, and then I actually clicked through. I went to the article and then I scrolled to the comments for some reason. And in the comments, he'd replied to someone and left his email address. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's Lewis Howes' email address. So I emailed him and I said, I love what you're doing. If I can support in any way, let me know. And he replied. And then this was in December. On the 20th of December, I was doing a joint venture webinar with Amy Porterfield, who he was partnered with at the time. And sat on this webinar for an hour. Amy was teaching, and at the end of it I made $2,000, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just made $2,000 in an hour, and I just sat here this is insane. And then following on from that, I think I did another webinar with Amy. I did one with Lewis. I did one with James Wedmore. I did a bunch of different amazing joint venture webinars with people, and that kind of got money coming in. And then it was a few months later that I started my own membership site, which I was terrified to do, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I did it. And then that's when it kind of all kind of took off and became really, really, really successful financially. So you can be 2 years into your business and not making money. The reality is, a lot of people are a year or 2 years into their business and struggling to have that breakthrough where they're making the money they want. Yes, some people can break through a lot faster, but I think for the majority of people, it does take a long time to break through. But I think there's some really important questions to ask yourself. If I was 2 years into my business at this moment and I wasn't making money, I would be doing a little investigation to figure out what was going on. And this is what I did. And this is what made me know I was on the right tracks. So I want you to get a notebook and a pen, and I want you to answer some questions. We're going to do an investigation if you are kind of stuck in this place where you're not making the money that you want, whether it's been 2 years or 1 year or 3 months or however long it's been. Firstly, what have you accomplished since you decided to get going with your business? What have you accomplished? I want you to write it down and think about what you've accomplished and really, really think about it all, because sometimes I think it's so easy for us to forget the progress we have actually been making. So, and if you feel like you have to have made progress, like there are things you've done, but if you feel like you've absolutely not made any progress, then I would be like, there's something going on here that we need to dig even deeper on. So first thing, what have you accomplished? So for example, for me, in those 2 years when I had, when I got to the end of that 2 years and I'd ran out of money, I was looking back at what I'd accomplished, and I was like, I've built an email list of thousands of people. I've built a social media following of thousands of people. I have connected and networked with so many people. I've built so many incredible relationships. I've won awards. I have spoken on stages. Like, I had accomplished so much, even though I had not figured out the money piece. I'd accomplished a lot. So in myself, I knew I was on the right track. Was building my audience. I was driving traffic to my website. I was building my email list. So do you feel like you've been building momentum, or do you feel like you've been hopping around and you've just not really made progress with anything? Because if that is the case, then that, again, it is a bit of a problem, but you can figure out, okay, it's because I'm just not following anything through. So for example, maybe you started on social media, but it was taking too long and it was slow and it wasn't really getting anywhere. So then you try something else, and then you try something else, and you try something else. It's like you've not really given yourself the chance to really have that breakthrough and create that success, because it takes time. Like, it took time for me to really gain traction on social media. It took time for me to figure out how to grow my email list. Like, those things just didn't happen overnight. They happened because I was so consistent, and I showed up, and I kept trying, and I kept learning, and I kept trying, and I kept learning. You get the point. So many people try something, it doesn't work, or it feels really hard, and it feels overwhelming, or it's new and it's scary, and so they don't stay consistent with it, and so they don't get that result, and then they try something else. So where do you fall? Have you been consistent with anything? Have you had breakthroughs with anything? Do you feel like you're building momentum with anything, or do you feel like you're not? So answer and journal on that question. My next question for you is, do you feel like anything is blocking you? What is blocking you and stopping you from making the money that you want to make? So for example, for me, I had loads of blocks around actually creating something to sell. Like I was so afraid to put something together. I was so afraid to create something. And so that was really holding me back. So what is holding you back? Is there anything blocking you? Do you have any like fears or things that you think about that stop you? Is it like me where you haven't actually created an offer yet? Or is it that you have created an offer, but you've got loads of blocks around actually getting yourself out there? And so you feel like you're just very inconsistent with getting yourself out there. So you're not really building traction. So you've got something to sell, but you're just not having a breakthrough when it comes to selling it. And do you feel like then there are any blocks surrounding that? So really kind of dig deep with this and really create that awareness, because I feel like when you're building a business, when you're doing anything, quite frankly, if you don't have awareness around what's going on and why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, it's really hard to do anything about it. So really peel back the layers and get that clarity on what's going on with this. So look at your blocks. The next question I have for you is this: why haven't you made any money? Why haven't you made any money? Or why haven't you made the money that you want to be making? Why have you not had a breakthrough with the money? Is it that, like I said before, you haven't got anything to sell? Or is it that you have got something but it isn't selling? And if so, why? If you haven't got anything to sell, why haven't you got anything to sell? What's going on with that? Is it that you need to develop a skill so that you can create something and you can sell it? Is it because you just need to learn how to put an offer together? Or is it that you have an offer and it's not selling and you need to learn how to sell? Like, what is it? Because the thing that I've realized is you can learn how to become amazing at anything. You can learn how to become amazing at building your email list. You can learn how to become amazing at social media. You can learn how to become amazing at creating irresistible offers. You can learn how to become amazing at selling. Like all of us can learn to become amazing at that. But so often we're not, because we're just like doing this hopping around between all these different things, not really ever putting our full self into one thing and getting really, really, really bloody good at it. So asking yourself, why am I not making the money I want to be making? And see what comes up for you. So for me, for example, when I did start to have a breakthrough of money and I was doing these joint venture webinars, my income was so up and down, because one month I might do a joint venture webinar and it might bring in a few thousand. The next month I might not have any joint venture webinars to do because I didn't have anyone to do them with, because I wasn't selling anything that I'd created myself. So it was just too much. Like I couldn't cope with how like up and down it was. And I knew I needed to create something of my own. So then I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to create and how am I going to create it? So I created a membership site and I got going with that. But another money block for me was then when I got to 1,000 members, it was amazing, but it was like, how do I get to the next level? How do I get this to 3,000 to 5,000 members? And I felt like I didn't know how to do it, because what I was doing, it was like kind of what got you here won't get you there. And so I knew I needed help. So at that point I found a mentor and I reached out to him and I had a VIP day. I invested in having this VIP day and he taught me how to launch. So then I learned how to launch, and then I learned how to get good at launching. And then I did a launch, and in a week I had 1,200 new members sign up. And within a year, we'd grown the membership to over 3,000 members. So that's the thing, like I then really went all in at getting really, really, really good at doing launches. So if you got really, 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 really good at doing launches, then you would also be able to have those breakthroughs. Or maybe it's that you're not ready to do big launches because you don't actually have an audience. So maybe what you need to get really, really, really good at is building an email list or creating visibility through social media. You've got to figure out like, you got to make that decision. I am going to go all in at building my email list. For me, my email list has been the biggest source of revenue. Like it has driven the most amount of revenue for the business is through the email list. And it's still the same today as it was 10 years ago for me, in terms of like, it's still just as powerful. So, you need to ask yourself, like, why haven't I been making money? Another question to ask yourself is, how do you feel about what you're doing? Like, how does it feel? How do you feel about it? Do you still feel like in your heart you really want to do it? You really want to kind of, it's still your dream of yours. You still really want to make it happen. Like, how do you feel? Like energetically, do you feel like really pumped up and fired up for it, or are you just feeling like, ugh, what am I doing? If so, maybe you need to hit the reset. Maybe, because it's so easy sometimes to get like so caught up in like an energy and of what we don't want. So before I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, I went through this phase of feeling like I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, and it just became a mantra. I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I feel so lost, I'm so confused, and it just felt like I just programmed myself to feel so stuck. And I realized that like, I need to break free of this thinking. I need to break free of feeling like this. Otherwise, I'm never going to actually be able to get on with creating what I want. And so I literally got really intentional about changing that mantra. I got myself a new mantra. I decided that I was going to literally open myself up to all the opportunities, to all the possibilities. I was going to go on an exploration to see what was possible. What could I create if I just start taking tiny little steps? I was going to start opening myself up to learning, to having conversations with people, to actually getting myself out there. And when I shifted my focus and my thoughts to that, I started taking action in that direction. Because when I was so focused on, I don't know what to do, guess what? I didn't know what to do. And so I didn't do anything. I didn't really get anywhere. So it's like, really looking at how are you feeling and what is your energy like right now, and are you in a really good energy to like have that breakthrough, or actually do you need to shake things up and really work on your energy and work on where you're at so that you can like, you know, feel like shift into that energy of like, no, I'm here for this, I'm here to make this happen, I am fed up of my own story, I'm fed up of hearing myself complain about this, I'm fed up of feeling stuck, I'm fed up of not getting to where I want, I'm fed up of not having the breakthrough, and I am ready to put my stake in the ground and say, I am here for this, and I am ready to have a breakthrough. I'm ready to make that money. I open myself up to receiving the money I want. Like, you know, shifting that energy is such a big difference. So really kind of look at that and think, how can you just work on your energy and how you feel so that you're opening yourself up to having that breakthrough that you want. Also really thinking about, what is your ultimate dream? What do you really want to make happen? And reconnecting with that. That'll really help with the energy piece as well, but really reconnecting with why you started your business in the first place. What does it mean for you? Why were you doing it? And what do you want? Where are you trying to get to? What is the ultimate dream for you? And really kind of thinking through that so that you can remember why this matters and why this is so important for you to do it, and why you absolutely shouldn't give up on this idea of yours. Or not even that, it's just your business is something that you want to do because you want to like have an impact on people, or because you want to make that money for yourself, you want to create that freedom in your life, because you want to live your best life. So you don't want to give up on that, because you only live one life. Like it would be sad to get to the end of it and think, oh God, why didn't I just try and tweak things to figure it out more, you know, and like have that breakthrough. So really reconnecting with that dream so that you really stay connected and centered on that, so that you can drive it forward. So those are some investigation questions for you to ask yourself that I think are really, really helpful, and they've helped me so much. Now I want to dig into, okay, so how do I actually make money? How do I actually have that breakthrough? And obviously this is so different in terms of, we could get very, very specific depending on different types of businesses. But I want to kind of give a bit of a 30,000 foot overview of really how to make money, to break it down and to really simplify it. So if in order to be able to really make money in any business, you obviously you've got your business, and that business needs to have you've got an identity for that business. That business has a mission, it has a clear mission, and you know what that business is here to do. You know you also know who that business is here to serve. So you're really clear on your audience. That's the second thing. First thing is, what is your business mission? What are you trying to achieve with your business? Like, how are you trying to serve people, and who are you trying to serve? That's the second point, is like, who are your dream audience? Who are the people that you would love to work with? Who are those dream customers of yours? Those two things are so important, because without those things, you're going to have an offer, or you're going to create something and it isn't going to land for anyone. You're probably not going to be able to sell it very easily. So for me, for example, with the Female Entrepreneur Association, the mission has been to inspire and empower women from all over the world to take their ideas and turn them into wildly successful businesses. That's been my mission. And once I got really hooked onto that mission, it made it clear for me what I needed to do. Obviously, then I was digging deep on who are the people I'm serving. Okay, they're women, they have ideas for businesses, or they've started a business. And then I got clear on like, how are they feeling? What are their frustrations? What are their challenges? Where are they stuck? And what are the desires? What do they want? I started getting really clear on what that looked like, so that I could create content and I could have conversations that were resonating with my dream audience, with my people. Then obviously you have to be able to create visibility. You have to get people to discover you. In order to get people to discover you, you have to be putting content out there. So you have to get good at knowing what it is you're saying. You can't get good at knowing what you're saying without your mission, knowing what your mission is, and knowing who your audience are, knowing who you're speaking to. So, which is why those first 2 points are so important. But when you start to get yourself out there and create that, put good content out there so that you can create visibility, you'll start to build momentum. Obviously, once people discover you, then it's all about building that know, like, and trust factor with them. So getting them to know you, getting them to fall in love with you. And you're doing that through the conversations you're having or the content you're putting out there. It's really all about what you are saying. What are you showing up and saying, whether it's saying it online, whether it's saying it on an ad, whether it's saying it in a networking event. It's what are you showing up and saying that really engages people and makes them want to pay attention to what you have to say. So many people get stuck on this point. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to be compelling. They don't know. They're afraid to be compelling. They're afraid to put themselves out. They're afraid to say it, to make their voice loud when it comes to what they're about. And so for me, when I started FEA, this is the piece that I got really good at first, because I knew if I can't connect with people, if I can't compel and engage people, I won't be able to create success. So maybe, for example, if you're 2 years into your business, or this is for anyone really, if, for example, you're not making money, maybe that's a piece that you're like, actually, you know what? That is my struggle. I struggle to get myself out there. I struggle to connect with people. I struggle to be compelling. I struggle to engage with people. I struggle to build my audience. And then if that is the case, bloody amazing. Now you can go all in at thinking like, what do I need to learn in order to get amazing at this? And you can learn about it. There's so many different ways you can learn. There's so much information online. Obviously, if you're part of the Female Entrepreneur Association, we have tons of masterclasses on this that you can go through. You can learn, and that's all I did. I learned how to get good at this stuff. So obviously, part of building that know, like, and trust factor and the visibility piece is building your audience, building your email list. So this kind of all rolls into, obviously, social media following, just like a community following, like the connection you have with people. Because again, if you're selling high ticket, you don't necessarily need to have a huge audience, but a small network of people that you're building relationships with is really, really powerful. And an email list is great no matter, I think, what kind of business you have. It's good if you've got a high ticket business. It's good if you've got a one-on-one business. It's good if you've got a product-based business. It's good if you've got a one-to-many business where you've got courses or memberships, or it's good even if you don't have anything to sell yet. Like I said, I started my email list years before I had anything to sell. So you don't need to have anything to sell in order to get out and create visibility and start building your email list and your audience. Remember that, because so many people think, oh, but I need to wait till I've figured out what I'm selling first. No. You've got it wrong if you're doing that, in my opinion, because then you've got something amazing to sell and you've got no one to sell to. And then it's like, oh gosh, what is going to happen here? So focus on building that audience. And again, for me, someone said to me, Carrie, you need to build an email list. I was like, what's an email list? And I learned what an email list was. I learned how to build my email list, and I started to tinker at it and figure it out. And the more I worked on it, the better I got at it. And that is how I've grown an email list of hundreds and hundreds of email subscribers. It all started with that first email subscriber and figuring out how the hell I was going to get it, because I didn't know. You can become amazing at anything, like I said. So maybe it's that you want to go all in and figure out how to build an email list. Again, we've got so many masterclasses on this to help you. And there's so much stuff out there anyway, if you're not part of our, in a community at the Female Entrepreneur Association. But learning how to do that stuff so that you can build that visibility, you can build that know, like, and trust factor, you can nurture those people. And then the next question is, or the next piece of the jigsaw puzzle is, when you've got those people there, how are you getting those people to buy from you? How are you making the offer to them? And how are you telling them what you have to sell? What does that look like? What does that process look like? So for example, for me with the membership, I opened it up. So I told my email list, I told my followers on social media, I ran Facebook ads, and I told people that doors were open to my membership. I told them about it. And then I learned a new strategy around launching a few years later, where I closed enrollment and I opened enrollment for a launch, and then I closed enrollment and then I reopened it a few months later for a launch. And I learned that kind of model of launching, and that worked really well. I've learned about evergreen models and selling all the time. So again, it's just learning. You can learn how to launch. You can learn how to run evergreen promotions. Anyone can learn that. So it's if you are at that stage where you've got an amazing offer, you have an audience, some kind of audience, and then you're just ready to sell, then learn how to become flipping amazing at selling. And again, it's maybe asking yourself, do I have blocks around this? Does this feel really uncomfortable? And yes, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. I feel like selling feels uncomfortable for most people. But it's just kind of working at it and practicing at it. And the more you do it, the more you show up, the easier it's going to become, the better you're going to get at it, and the more success you're going to have, the more breakthroughs you're going to have. And then finally, it's looking at how are you creating an amazing experience for the people when they buy from you, so that you have loads of happy customers who want to go and rave about you and tell other people about you. So really looking at creating that amazing experience. And again, you can learn how to create amazing experiences. There's, again, tons and tons of content and courses and lessons that you can learn around doing that. So just to kind of put that a quick overview of that, it's looking at having a really strong mission for your business, so that you feel really clear on what your business is here to do, what it's here to make happen. You're really clear on who the audience are that you're serving, who are those dream customers you want to work with. You're really clear on the transformation that you want to get for those people, or not just, for example, if you're selling a physical product, for example, we sell our, if you're watching the video of this, we have our stationery range, Carrie and Go, and we sell planners, and we sell manifesting notebooks, and we sell all sorts of amazing products, if I do say so myself. But when we are selling these products, it's a physical product they're buying, but we still think of the transformation it's going to get for them. I still think about the person buying this planner is buying it because they want to have more clarity and focus. They want to really build a successful business. They want to feel really organized. And so we as a company dig into understanding the transformation. I always sell this. We sell these manifesting pens, and I'm always it isn't just a pen. It's what the pen does. It's how you sell and talk about the pen. The transformation of the pen. So this is literally our manifesting pen, and it comes in a manifesting box. And we talk and we share the story around when the ink hits the paper and you write down your goals and dreams, you are beginning to manifest it. You're beginning to take something that's in your head and you're putting it on paper, and it's becoming a real thing. And so it isn't just any old pen, it's your manifesting pen. And when you pick it up so that you manifest. And it's different. It's different to just buying a pen. So it's what is the transformation of it? So mission, audience, how are you getting discovered? How are you getting those people to fall in love with you, become subscribers and followers, and really, really warm them up? How are you getting them to buy from you? How are you delivering the most exceptional service when they buy from you, or the most amazing product, the most amazing experience, that they fall in love with you at your company and they rave about you to their friends and family? So those 6 things, if you can get good at those things, and you don't have to get good at them all in one go, but if you can get good at doing those 6 things over time, you can't not build a successful business. You will have those breakthroughs. So really kind of look at, where is it kind of falling down for you? where are the pieces that you just need to fine tune and kind of work on them. Get a mentor, work with somebody, or I've always invested in myself, even when I've not been able to afford it. And I'm not suggesting that's a good strategy for everyone, because it's not. I wouldn't want people to go into debt working with anyone at all. But like, I have always found working with mentors and working with people who are a few steps ahead of where I'm at has really helped me to like kind of get going a bit faster. So like, really kind of getting that help, or being part of communities and asking people questions and having those conversations, and just really breaking it all down really simply, and just looking at what is going on in your business, why isn't it working, where is it working, and how can you have that breakthrough so you can make money. And maybe it's just that, like, actually in listening to this, you've realized something, and you've realized actually there's a quick fix to this. Maybe it's just repositioning your offer. Maybe it's that you actually just need to sell it more. Maybe it's that you just need to work on building your audience. Maybe it's that you need to actually work on creating an offer. So identify what it is and then work on it, and get so laser focused on it. Stop trying to do all of the things. Just get laser focused on one thing at a time. And that's how you're going to have your breakthrough. But just because you haven't made money yet doesn't mean you're not going to break through and make absolutely loads of money. Just know that it takes time for all of us to figure it out. And that's reality. And I think so often we see things online where someone's like, I made 100,000 in 6 weeks. You're like, what? And then you feel like an utter failure because you've been building your business for 5 years and you've not even made 100 grand yet. So I get it, because I know I've been there in the sense of, for the first 2 years, I ran out of money with people saying, what are you doing? And I remember hearing stories of people making $1 million in the first year and thinking, oh, wow, like I'm really failing then. But you're not. We're all on our own journeys, and your journey is not going to be like anyone else's journey, and you have to trust your own journey, and you have to trust that you're in the right place, that you're in the place you're meant to be at. And it's like, what are the lessons I need to learn from this? How can I like shine a light on what I need to know right now so that I can have this breakthrough? And just kind of asking yourself those questions is going to help illuminate the way for you. But just keep going with your dream and with what you want to do. And if you can do that, you will have those breakthroughs. And remember, building a successful business is something that all of us can do. And maybe it'll take you a few attempts at it. Maybe it'll take a few tries. Maybe you've got to tweak a lot of stuff. Maybe you've got to learn a lot of stuff. But I know we can all do it. We can all figure it out, because it is not rocket science. It's just figuring out a few simple things and dialing them in. And there's so many people out there that can help you to do that. And you are right here, right now. We are one of those resources. So immerse yourself in it. If you want to do it, immerse yourself in learning how to do it, and you will be able to break through. I hope this has been really useful. If you are stuck, please know we are always here. I am always here cheering you on and here to help support you. So reach out if you need anything, if you've got any questions, we are here for you. Anyway, I will leave some extra links and stuff in the show notes for you, some other resources that we have that I think will be helpful for you, so you can go and check those out. If you have loved listening to this episode and you love listening to the She Means Business show and you haven't left us a review yet on Apple, I would love you to leave us a review. We often do giveaways as well, where we pick people to win some fun prizes. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it so much. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Know that you can become wildly successful, and never forget that. And I will see you next week for another episode of the She Means Business show.